I'd like to thank Bob. That was one of the things that really got me started in reptiles when I was a little guy growing up in Florida. Dinosaurs were the big thing for me. Then I realized all these reptiles and amphibians were right in my state of Florida. Anyways, that was a childhood quasi-obsession that I've never outgrown. We're calling it the Crotalid assessment, but this is actually part of a larger thing that we're trying to assess out here. When I came on here almost 4 years ago, looking through the species lists that we had here at the research ranch for the past 40 years, it's listed something like 51 species of amphibians and reptiles that have been found here over those 4 decades. And with Linda's help, Pat's help, and everybody else's help along the way, researchers let me know about things as well. We've been working towards assessing what is present and what is absent, what is still here. And out of the 51 species originally in the list, and we've since added 2 more that weren't on the list, but we found about 36 of the species are still here. And of course, take a look around you here, there's only 16 billion places that anything could be hiding out there. And a lot of the things that we're trying to assess out here are spend most of their active life underground. And it's usually only during the monsoon season where we have a chance to actually stumble across them. But we'll get to that part, I guess. We talk about rattlesnakes. We actually have 4 species of rattlesnakes here. The Mojave, Western Diamondback, Blacktail, and the Banded Rock. The Banded Rock was a big surprise for me. I didn't expect to see those here, but those are confirmed. They are definitely here. Diamondbacks and Mojaves are widespread. They can pop up almost anywhere out here. However, Diamondbacks, they prefer rocky areas, gullies, washes, in the Sakatone Flats, but they actually can turn up almost anywhere within the preserve here. Mojaves, they prefer the open grasslands. I have yet to see one down in a wash or a gully yet. The other popular places that they turn up, many people that live with rattlesnakes are familiar with that. They show up right around your buildings. So we do occasionally find them here around the center headquarters here and at the researchers' quarters too. And one of the blacktails is, I would have expected to find more of those in more of a bigger location. Let's see if this thing works. But the blacktails are actually near these wintering sites right here. And like in Post Canyon, there's maybe about a 1/4 of a mile stretch in Post Canyon, and maybe like a 1/2 mile stretch in O'Donnell Canyon, where we found blacktails, at least since I've been here or have been reported to me here. So those particular areas are of particular importance, I believe, for the blacktail rattlesnake populations we have here. And that was in O'Donnell there. That's where the Banded Rock rattlesnake turned up. And actually there's only been 3 confirmed specimens found out here at the Banded Rocks. And one of them Linda and Dan found right in our recycle shed. And the other one was found by Phil Rosen back in the mid-'80s. And that was, I haven't found it yet, but hopefully there's still a little population of Banded Rocks in Post Canyon as well. And like I said, these are confirmed wintering sites. This one here, this was found earlier this year, and that's actually in a different drainage, and that was kind of exciting to find that one somewhere else. Of course, finding anybody that is familiar with snakes, I know Cecil and a lot of other people in here are familiar with snakes. These are actually classic rattlesnake or snake denning sites. They're usually it's a southeast or southwest exposure during the wintertime. It's usually well lit. And they're real good with, or they prefer lots of places they can go deeper in, cracks in the rock, crevices, or boulder piles, or rock piles like the one in the lower left there. These sites are somewhat limited, and we have more snakes here that can be accounted for that. So in Mojaves, we don't know exactly where they're spending the winter at, but it's a very logical assumption, as long as a lot of other non-venomous snakes here on the research ranch or elsewhere in the area here, is at the base of trees where there's rodent burrows. Preferred would be ones that are unoccupied. One thing kind of interesting too, I'm going to get to that in the next slide, but the top two sites are shared by multiple species there. And to date, the one we got right there, that's solely inhabited by blacktails, and I think that accounts for a good portion of the black-tailed rattlesnakes in O'Donnell. As I said, the preferred den sites are kind of few and far between. And the classic sites are obviously some of the better places to see some of these guys because they're exposed in crevices during early spring and a little bit into fall sometimes. They're easy to find there, but up in the top there, you can't see it very well. There's two blacktails in there. There's a couple diamondbacks right there. That's a blacktail head there, a diamondback body there. I've seen these den sites shared. That's a Sonoita whipsnake. I've seen those in a couple locations. Kind of the same crevice, but different location. There would be a blacktail there, and there would be a Sonoita whipsnake. And there is a diamondback and a blacktail together, and this is actually the largest diamondback that I've seen here at the research ranch that I've been here, which I don't think myself too prone to exaggeration, but it was a good solid 5 feet, which is a pretty good sized diamondback. And it's unfortunately courting a pregnant female, so he wasn't going anywhere fast with her, I think. This was something new. I started to encounter a lot of these snakes, and a lot of them I've seen this snake before, or I think I did, or they're the same location. And it's something that's been done a lot of other locations as well. It's kind of the cheaty way, easy way to do it. And that's marking them with nail polish. We haven't quite got the funds or the resources to put transmitters and things to track them that way, or even pin tags for that matter. And we prefer to minimize any manipulation or compromise of the animals either. So this is kind of a quick and dirty way to kind of track at least numbers, if not some of the individuals. And the big trick is to find them. Obviously, I'm not a full-time snake researcher out here, and Linda...
You would be if
I had half a shot at it. No, it's just Linda, myself, and Pat are the only staffers out here. So it's kind of, whenever opportunity presents itself, Linda gives me time off, and I say, gee, the weather's just right today, and so let me go out to the field to look. But most of it is accidental sightings, or incidental sightings, and we're either going from point A to point B, working around the buildings, or we ask researchers to report anything that they see, at least the location, rough size, time of day, that type of stuff. And I don't, contrary to popular belief, I think a lot of people felt that too, that I walk around with nail polish in my pocket all the time. I do not do that. So it's, I oftentimes encounter snakes that I do not mark. And a lot of the snakes that I have marked are also in these crevices, and rather than to just stir the animal to drag it out, I won't say I've never done it, but I usually try to avoid to drag them out. I just soon leave them there. And so I get into some of these little crevices here, like that. Thanks to Laura for those photos there. And I do mark them, and actually the ones you see in the ice chest here are actually two relocated animals. I said we don't like to do that, but for liability purposes, it's not a good idea to have too many diamondbacks coiled up at the front door when people are coming through. In keeping track of all the data we do collect. Yeah, and that's pretty much what the tails might look like on some of the kids there. A lot of times, a lot of the snakes that I've encountered, I'm not sure exactly who's causing it, but a lot of times, and it seems to be on the anterior portion of the body there, I've found mostly diamondbacks, but usually scars. I'm kind of assuming maybe they've had an encounter while they were trying to, were inactive and rodents might have chewed on, but I've seen fresh wounds and I've seen old scars on several animals now. But next year I'm going to change colors. That would help a lot too. Basically I'm going with pink, dark red, and a purple up to this point right now. And this is some of the results. These photos here, that's one of the for me, real joys about living here. You get to see things you don't normally see when you're just in the field for one day. Mojave eating a deer mouse, diamondback eating a mourning dove, and a male Mojave courting another unreceptive female Mojave there. But in 2013, there were 35 sightings reported, and 15 of those animals were marked. 40 blacktails were sighted, 15 were marked, but 12 of those blacktails were newborns. That was another first for me in my entire many years of looking for and looking at reptiles. I actually found 2 female blacktails at different sites with 6 babies at each site, so that was a real treat too. Mojaves, usually see those on the roadways, and I don't always have my little fingernail polish with me to the market, so there were only 3 Mojaves that were marked in 2013. This year so far, 12 diamondbacks reported, 7 of those we marked. Blacktails, 2 were sighted, 2 were marked, and Mojaves, 3 were sighted, and 1 was marked. And that 1 mark was a nice surprise for Linda the other morning. We were moving some plants out here, and there was this young Mojave that was right under the pot that we found it under. And
that was as of yesterday.
As of yesterday.
Right out here.
Yes, right there. And it's kind of amazing. The first the snake looked like one of us set a pot on it. That's how flat it was. And there was like not much more than a 1/4-inch gap under that pot, but that snake had somehow crawled under there. And since I've been looking for wintering sites from 2011 to 2014, we actually have 8 confirmed sites that snakes are routinely using during the wintertime. This is something new we're trying. This is not necessarily for rattlesnakes, but we actually have 10 sites located on the ranch. And these sites, I gotta hurry here, I'm running out of time. These sites are permanently marked now, and we have set up at each site 4 pieces of tin and 4 pieces of aged plywood. And they're all marked and numbered, GPSed, and somewhat hidden there. And I fully don't expect to see much here until we get to the rains. I have flicked a few since we put them out, mostly a couple species of lizards, but no snakes yet. And thanks to Pedro, Lewis, and Tony for helping me drag these coverboards out in the field, which was a feat. Some of them are quite a ways from the road and will heavily carried. And a few people for the photo credits. And that's it.